welcome back. I'm Larry Myers, with me, Dave Despain. This is round 7 of the Camel Supercross Series. We're in Las Vegas, Nevada at the Silver Bowl. Now, earlier in the program, we showed you qualifying for the main events. The mains will be coming up very, very shortly. But before we get to them, let's take a look at another bunch of youngsters that were doing some racing out here on this Silver Bowl track.
Racing indeed, Larry. Hundreds of amateur riders all vying for the opportunity to race in the Amateur Championship Series finale in Oklahoma City at the end of this campaign. We're going to show you the names of the winners and some of the best of the action.
And, of course, every one of those amateur racers, whether or not they make it to Oklahoma or make it home, are looking for a spot on this 125 line in the future. This is the farm system for Supercross. We've not talked much about them today, but basically they go through the same qualifying procedure as the 250cc counterparts. Qualifiers, then the main event. This is the main. Now, there are 3 riders that did qualify. Unfortunately, their main event performance not turning out to be exactly as they had pictured. Action up front is hot, heavy, intense, and here we go. It's underway. They're sorting themselves out. Out in front is Ty Davis, number 26. Davis is the Western points leader, but Davis gets past number 125, Jeremy McGrath. Took an outside line and railed around Davis. He was not impressed at all that Davis is leading this point standings, Dave.
No, indeed. Davis is twice a winner this year. The other guy who figures in this is number 43. He's running 3rd right now, and that is Michael Craig, who's also won a race this year. But for the moment, the story is the charge of McGrath. He is on the gas hard. So far tonight, it's been a great night for Kawasaki, by the way. This is the 125 version of the Green Machine.
There's another rider that has taken an off-track excursion. He's all right, up, and hopefully he'll get back at him out of this race. But they'll try to get as much riding time. That's why they fall and come back. They try to get as much riding time in as possible. I mentioned earlier this is the farm system, and I can't think of a better term to describe it. It's a training ground for up-and-coming Supercross stars, the stars of tomorrow that will be competing on the 250cc machines. Countries divided into eastern and western regions. East region, of course, rides only against other riders within the region. And that gives more riders a chance to ride in front of huge crowds in the Supercrosses. And, whoa! And the second place rider will have to go back. He's okay. It was Ty Davis. Just out of the corner of my eye, I saw Davis kind of butt into that whoop-de-doo, or that little jump, and it looked like he was going to come unglued, but Davis was able to save it and hold on to that number 2. No, he was passed. Number 43, Mike Craig, has taken over the number 2 position.
He made a good recovery and didn't lose much racetrack, but the problem for him was that Craig was right on his rear wheel, and now we got somebody else back there way out of shape. That was Vince Devane getting it real sideways. Number 97 gathered it back up and kept going.
Now, the 125 class, you know, we call it a training ground, but I have to think that the 125s are probably more difficult to ride and control on the racetrack than the 250. Reason is the lack of power. They have all of the handling characteristics that the 250 have, but they don't have that power to get them out of trouble. And also there's a thing called a power band. If you drop off the power band or you decrease the revolutions of the engine, it's harder to get that small engine worked back up to speed. So when you make a mistake on a 125, it's much more difficult to recover from than on a 250. So that was the real problem with Ty Davis. He only lost a few yards, but he did put one rider in between himself and the leader, so he's got to go to work. If he wants to finish in that number 1 spot, he's got to go to work to make the pass. And look at there. He finds a good line to the inside. He actually got by Craig. Craig come back, squared it off. They were side by side going through the next corner, and Craig carried him all the way out to the wall, and he had no choice. Let's see what happens. No, Dave, right there, he could have come back and done the same thing to Mike Craig. He should have put that wheel out in front of Craig and forced him into the wall and had Craig shut off, but he didn't do it. I don't know. Where did nice guys finish in Supercross?
3rd in this case, and I don't know whether Davis is just saving himself for a later move or not. He may be taking the measure. We'll find out when we come back.
Despain, Jeremy McGrath continues to lead this 125cc main event. He's number 125, as a matter of fact. We're in Las Vegas, Nevada at the Silver Bowl. It's round 7 of the Camel Supercross Series. We're looking at 125 action still to come, the 250 class. The battle on the racetrack has been between, for the last several laps, Mike Craig, number 43, and number 26, the existing points leader in this 125 Western Division. Now, those two riders, Dave, have been all over each other.
Well, they've been all over each other tonight, Larry. They've been all over each other all season. Number 26, Davis, is twice a winner this season. And number 43, Craig, has won one previous race. So as he tries to hold off Davis, this is not the first time they've been engaged this season. Jeff Emig is the other guy who has won a race. He hasn't shown himself up front yet. For now, these two guys are racing for second spot because Jeremy McGrath hasn't covered.
Well, we talked about the Camel Point Series, or the Camel Supercross Series, I should say, this being round 7. It's only round 5 for the Western Region 125 class. Now, because of that split, we do come out with some uneven numbers. So we want to quickly point out that when we get into the 250s, we'll be talking about round 7. Here it's round 5 for the 125cc class. Our leader continues to be Jeremy McGrath. He's out front. And there's your second place man, Michael Craig, rider number 43, with Ty Davis, number 26, holding down the number 3 position. Good action in this 125 class in the Silver Bowl in Las Vegas.
Davis seems to have lost the pace now. Craig is pulling away, and that's got to be frustrating for Davis because he needs those points to stay out front. He's in danger of falling into the clutches of Ryan Hughes here, who's the 4th place man, and he could make it a Kawasaki sweep as McGrath keeps extending it up front. See the gap back to Davis? He's definitely lost the rhythm, and the 4th place guy is now closer to him than he is to second place.